Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Sister Wives universe has been shaken to its very core by the latest shocking twist in the ongoing saga of the Brown family, as reports swirl that Christine Brown has officially taken legal action against her former husband Kody Brown, filing a lawsuit for child neglect in a move that fans are calling both long overdue and explosive. And while the legal paperwork has sent shockwaves through Flagstaff and beyond, the courtroom battle has already hit a dramatic snag, with Christine's attempts to deny Kody bail failing in a way that has fueled an even deeper level of speculation about the fractured family dynamics, financial scandals, and moral questions that have plagued the Browns since the first whispers of dysfunction began circulating years ago, long before the family's reality TV fame magnified every detail of their polygamous experiment for the world to see. For many fans, Christine's decision to sue Kody marks the culmination of years of quiet suffering, simmering resentment, and the gradual unraveling of a marriage that once represented her deep commitment to the polygamous lifestyle, a lifestyle she not only sacrificed her youth for but also fought to maintain despite endless favoritism, alleged manipulations, and what some describe as an almost tyrannical control that Kody wielded over the family finances and household decisions. This lawsuit, alleging child neglect, has stirred not only legal experts, but also the Sister Wives fandom, who remember the countless moments across the show's seasons where Christine appeared to question whether her children were getting the love, attention, and resources they deserved from Kody, especially as the family became more divided, more financially strained, and more isolated under Kody's obsession with Coyote Pass and his controversial favoritism toward Robyn and her children. The neglect charges themselves are said to stem from years of what Christine's legal team allegedly framed as emotional abandonment, financial negligence when it came to providing stability for her children, and the physical absence of a father figure who, according to Christine, chose to invest his time and resources disproportionately into Robyn's household, creating an unbalanced and unhealthy environment for the rest of the family's children, many of whom were left to feel secondary and unsupported. However, the courtroom drama escalated to an even more intense level when Christine reportedly attempted to push for Kody to be denied bail, painting him as a flight risk and an unfit father whose presence outside of custody could harm ongoing investigations into the family's assets. But the judge ultimately ruled against her request, allowing Kody to remain free pending further legal proceedings, a decision that Christine's supporters have decried as a devastating blow not just to her case but also to the symbolic fight she has taken up on behalf of her children. Observers have been quick to note the irony that while Christine is waging a war in the courts, Kody continues to project an image of wealth, power, and confidence, with his lavish spending habits, expensive vehicles, and his insistence on maintaining control of the sprawling yet underdeveloped Coyote Pass property standing in stark contrast to Christine's claims that he consistently failed to provide the basics of stability for her kids. Fans have long speculated that Kody's true wealth lies not in what he claims on camera but in hidden accounts, backdoor deals, and a lifetime of dodging financial responsibility under the guise of communal family living, and Christine's legal team appears determined to crack open the vault of secrets that has shielded Kody from accountability for years, though the road ahead is already proving treacherous. The courtroom scene itself was described by insiders as a powder keg, with Christine entering composed but determined, flanked by supporters who believe she has been the most vocal and courageous of Kody's wives, the one who finally broke free and spoke the truth about what life with him was really like, while Kody reportedly appeared smug, dismissive, and at times combative, especially when confronted with allegations that he had all but abandoned some of his children emotionally in favor of building a new life with Robyn. The judge's denial of Christine's attempt to block bail sparked heated debate outside the courthouse, with some saying it was the right call given the lack of immediate threat, and others arguing that it sent the wrong message about accountability in cases where emotional neglect and financial manipulation are harder to prove, but just as devastating. Meanwhile, social media has erupted with hashtags like #JusticeForChristine, #KodyExposed, and #SisterWivesCourtDrama as fans dissect every detail of the proceedings, analyzing Christine's every word and predicting whether this case could finally tear down the carefully constructed facade of Kody's patriarchal rule. Christine herself has reportedly expressed disappointment over the failed bail motion but insists she will not be deterred, vowing to fight for the truth to come out and for her children's experiences to be validated in a court of law, and this resolve has only strengthened the support she has received from her fellow ex-sister wives, with Janelle reportedly sending messages of encouragement, and even Mary, long considered on shaky terms with Christine, allegedly reaching out privately to acknowledge the courage it took to take such a bold legal step against Kody. The bigger question looming over the entire situation is whether Christine's lawsuit will open the floodgates for other women in Kody's life, or even some of the adult children, to come forward with their own grievances, potentially sparking a wave of legal battles that could finally expose the dysfunction the show only hinted at. From questionable financial decisions to the emotional scars left by years of being part of what was once portrayed as a functioning plural family. For now, the legal drama is just beginning, with Christine bracing for a long fight that will no doubt dredge up painful memories, challenge the legacy of the show, and force both Kody and TLC into uncomfortable positions, as the network must now grapple with whether continuing to feature Kody in future Sister Wives seasons will backfire amid accusations of neglect and parental failure. Kody, for his part, seems determined to spin the situation as nothing more than a bitter ex-wife's vendetta, dismissing Christine's claims as exaggerated, baseless, and motivated by a desire for attention. But as court records and testimonies begin to emerge, fans and legal experts alike are bracing for revelations that could prove otherwise, potentially transforming this case into one of the most scandalous reality TV fallout stories of the decade. As the courtroom dust settled and the news outlets scrambled to report every twist of Christine Brown's lawsuit against Kody Brown for child neglect, the story began to grow beyond just a family drama. It became a cultural conversation about parental responsibility, financial manipulation, and the consequences of reality TV fame when the cameras stop rolling. And while Christine may have lost her first battle in the judge's denial of her bail motion, her war is far from over, with her legal team preparing to launch a sweeping campaign of evidence, testimonies, and financial records that they believe will prove Kody consistently failed in his duties as a father, not just to Christine's children but to the larger Brown brood as well. What makes this fight particularly explosive is how it exposes the fractures within the once tightly controlled Brown narrative. For years, Kody insisted on camera that he was the ultimate patriarch, tirelessly devoted to providing for his large family, but off-camera accounts have painted a picture of a man increasingly consumed with ego, power, and favoritism, leaving many of his children to feel abandoned, unsupported, and unloved, and Christine's case seems poised to drag every one of those contradictions into the public record. The bail hearing itself became a kind of symbolic showdown, with Christine's side arguing that Kody could use his resources and network to hide assets, dodge accountability, or manipulate the narrative further if he remained free, while Kody's defense scoffed at the idea, painting him as a harmless public figure whose biggest crime was being the victim of a vindictive ex-wife. And the judge's ruling to allow bail seemed to validate the defense, but the backlash outside the courtroom tells a very different story. One in which fans and legal observers alike believe Christine's claims have weight and that the denial of her bail request is only a temporary setback. In the days following the hearing, Christine has reportedly leaned heavily on her support system, including her new husband David Woolley, who has been a constant presence at her side, offering both emotional strength and practical support, standing as a stark contrast to Kody's cold detachment, and fans have praised Christine for finally finding a partner who champions her rather than silences her, which makes her fight against Kody not only about justice for the past but also about ensuring that she builds a healthier, safer legacy for her children and grandchildren. Meanwhile, Kody has allegedly doubled down on his arrogance, continuing to strut through public appearances with an air of invincibility, often photographed with Robyn as though to project unity, but insiders claim that behind the scenes, tensions are running high, with even Robyn reportedly unnerved by the lawsuit's potential to strip away their financial security and expose the delicate house of cards that their marriage has become, and some speculate that Robyn may even fear becoming entangled in the legal battle herself if Christine's lawyers pursue angles that involve misappropriation of family funds or favoritism that led to neglect of the other children. The broader Sister Wives community is buzzing with speculation about what evidence Christine might have, with rumors swirling about old text messages, financial ledgers, and even testimonies from adult children like Isabel or Michael, who have previously hinted on social media about feeling neglected by their father. And if Christine's team can secure those voices in court, it could transform the case from a he said, she said feud into a damning indictment of Kody's parenting. TLC, the network that made the Browns famous, is also reportedly in crisis mode, torn between capitalizing on the sensationalism of the case for ratings and the very real possibility that continuing to feature Kody could alienate viewers who no longer see him as quirky or flawed, but instead as a negligent father being dragged through court by one of the women who finally escaped his control. And industry insiders claim that network executives are already in meetings to determine whether to distance themselves from Kody or pivot the show's narrative to focus more heavily on Christine, Janelle, and the children, who are now widely seen as the more sympathetic and relatable figures in this long-running saga. Fans online are already speculating about a potential spin-off focused solely on Christine's new life, her court battles, and her marriage to David, which could draw massive viewership as audiences crave to see her triumph after years of being dismissed and overshadowed by Kody's bluster and Robin's manipulation. At the same time, Christine's legal fight is fueling a larger cultural debate about child neglect and how it manifests in non-traditional families, with some commentators noting that while Kody may not have been physically abusive, his alleged emotional neglect and financial mismanagement still qualify as deeply damaging, sparking conversations about the invisible forms of parental harm that rarely make it to court but can leave scars just as profound as physical abuse. In the weeks since the failed bail attempt, the tension between Christine and Kody has only grown more volatile, with Christine pushing forward undeterred, convinced that her case will expose the years of neglect and favoritism that tore the family apart, while Kody continues to strut in front of cameras and maintain that he has nothing to hide, but whispers from inside Flagstaff suggest otherwise, as neighbors and acquaintances claim Kody has been more reclusive, refusing to engage in his usual loud public displays, and some even say he appears paranoid, checking his property and snapping at strangers as though he knows the net is closing in, which only adds fuel to Christine's claims that he has something to hide. Robin, meanwhile, is caught in the storm, with reports surfacing that she has been urging Kody to settle the case quietly, fearing the humiliation of a public trial and the exposure of their finances, but Kody's pride won't allow him to bend, and he reportedly snapped at her during a heated argument, blaming her for the perception that he neglected his other children in favor of hers, an outburst that insiders say has shaken their marriage to its core. TLC executives, already rattled, are scrambling to decide whether filming can continue, with some crews pulled back and others quietly instructed to capture whatever raw footage they can, in hopes that the scandal itself can become the next big season. But Christine's lawyers are allegedly exploring whether they can block the network from using footage related to the case, a move that could cut off one of Kody's last tools of narrative control. For fans, the drama has escalated beyond entertainment. It's become a moral reckoning, and many are rooting for Christine to finally bring accountability to the man who always believed he was untouchable.